In the year 218 before Christ, a general named Hannibal did the impossible. He marched an army of war elephants over the snow-covered Alps to attack Rome from behind. A war elephant was the ancient world's living tank. They could shatter a wall of shields, trample men into the dirt, and terrify soldiers who had never seen a beast so huge. Horses that had never smelled an elephant would panic and bolt, so a single line of elephants could break an entire cavalry charge before it began. To stop them, armies dug hidden trenches lined with spikes and hurled flaming torches, because the one thing an elephant feared was fire. Because in the ancient world, animals were not just pets or food. They were weapons, they were gods, and sometimes they changed the fate of empires. One defending city found an even stranger weapon against elephants: pigs. They covered squealing pigs in tar, set them alight, and drove them at the elephants. The shrieking, burning animals sent the elephants into a blind panic, and they trampled their own army. After that, some trainers kept pigs beside the elephants just to get them used to the sound. Elephants even fought each other. At one great battle, African elephants faced Indian elephants for the first time in history, and the smaller African ones turned and fled. Hannibal's favorite elephant was named Surus the Syrian. It was said to be the last of all his elephants left alive, the one the great general himself rode. Back in Rome, a general once tried to ride into the city in a chariot pulled by elephants, only to discover the beasts were far too wide to fit through the city gate. But the animals the ancients feared most were not weapons. They were gods, and nowhere loved its animals like Egypt. The cat was sacred to the goddess Bastet. Egyptians adored their cats, decked them in gold rings and earrings, and treated them as blessed members of the family. Killing a cat, even by accident, could be punished by death. One Greek historian claimed he saw an angry Egyptian crowd lynch a Roman for running one over. And when the family cat died naturally, everyone in the household shaved off their eyebrows in mourning and grieved until they grew back. They loved cats so much that they mummified them by the millions, and whole cemeteries have been found packed with tiny wrapped cat bodies. Egypt worshipped fierce animals too. In the city of the crocodile god Sobek, priests kept a sacred crocodile in a temple pool, decked its head and feet in gold, and fed it honey cakes and wine by hand. Egypt also worshipped a living bull called the Apis. One special bull, with exactly the right markings, was chosen and honored as a god on earth for its entire life. When the sacred bull finally died, it was mummified and laid to rest in a stone coffin the size of a small room. Archaeologists found a whole underground gallery of these giant bull tombs. These animal gods ruled Egyptian life. But elsewhere, animals became the ultimate symbol of a king's raw power. The kings of Assyria proved their might by hunting lions. Their palace walls show the king firing arrows into charging lions, again and again, in scenes of stunning, brutal detail. Sometimes the lions were captured and released in front of the king just so he could kill them for an audience. It was a message: the king can master even the fiercest beast alive. Rome turned that idea into mass entertainment. The arena devoured exotic animals dragged in from every corner of the empire. Lions, tigers, bears, leopards, rhinos, crocodiles, hippos, even giraffes were shipped to Rome and slaughtered in the games by the thousand. To open one single arena, the Romans killed around 9,000 animals across 100 days of games. Another festival is said to have slaughtered 11,000. This endless hunger for beasts helped wipe out entire populations. The elephants of North Africa and the hippos of the Lower Nile were driven to local extinction to feed the games. But the crowd did not always cheer. When a general named Pompey had 20 elephants killed in the arena, the beasts seemed to cry out and plead for mercy. The Roman crowd, moved to tears, turned and cursed Pompey instead. Yet for all their power, the mightiest empire in the world was once saved, not by an army, but by a flock of geese. When enemy warriors crept up the cliffs of Rome in the dead of night, the guard dogs slept through it. But the sacred geese of the goddess Juno began honking wildly. The noise woke a Roman commander just in time to fight off the attackers at the very edge of the wall. From then on, Rome honored the geese and punished the dogs. Rome trusted birds with even bigger decisions. Before a battle, priests watched sacred chickens eat. If the birds ate hungrily, the omen was good. If they refused, the army was not supposed to fight. Before one great sea battle, the sacred chickens would not eat. An admiral, furious, threw them overboard, snarling that if they would not eat, they could drink. He went on to lose the battle, and his whole fleet. Dogs had their place too. The giant Molossan hounds of Greece were sent into battle wearing spiked collars and armor, war dogs bred to bring down a man. Even camels went to war. A Persian king once lined up his camels against enemy horsemen, knowing the horses could not stand the strange smell of the camels and would flee in terror. Some armies even weaponized insects, hurling nests of angry bees and hornets over city walls, or catapulting hives into enemy ranks. But the strangest animal story of all belongs to a Roman emperor and his horse. The emperor Caligula so adored his racehorse, Incitatus, that he gave it a marble stable, an ivory feeding trough, purple blankets, and a jeweled collar. He invited the horse to grand dinners, and, according to the ancient sources, joked that he would one day make Incitatus a consul, one of the highest offices in Rome. Whether he meant it or was mocking his own senate, we will never know. Not every animal served kings. Some carried the messages that held empires together. Long before any postal service, the ancients used homing pigeons to fly urgent news across huge distances, and even to carry the results of the Olympic Games to distant cities. And some bonds between human and animal were simply strange and sweet. Roman writers told of a boy who befriended a wild dolphin and rode on its back across the bay to school each day. When the boy fell sick and died, the story goes, the dolphin returned to their meeting place, waited for him, and, when he never came, died of grief. Kings collected the most exotic animals they could find into the world's first zoos, private menageries of lions, bears, monkeys, and birds from far-off lands, kept purely to show off their reach. And one horse became so famous it got a city. Alexander the Great's warhorse, Bucephalus, carried him across the known world, and when it died, Alexander named an entire city in its honor. Gods, weapons, messengers, and friends. To the ancients, animals were woven into every part of life, and often shaped history as powerfully as any general or king. From the elephants of Hannibal to the geese of Rome, the beasts of the ancient world helped decide who ruled, who fell, and who was remembered. And that brings us to the end of our very first season on this channel, 8 journeys into the strange, brilliant, and brutal world of the ancients. We have seen their machines, their workers, their failures, their dead, their laws, their feasts, their loves, and now their animals. If you have made it this far, thank you. You are exactly the kind of curious mind this channel was built for. Subscribe and stay close. Season 2 will take us deeper still into lost cities, unsolved mysteries, and the empires that time forgot. That was Chapter 8 and the finale of Season 1. I am so glad you came along. The ancients knew far more than we ever gave them credit for. I will see you in Season 2.